judge's ruling, and then I come back to Peter, because there are Kenyans who are asking who missed that ruling. But we have a glimpse of it that we want to play for you, and then we can find out then from the members of the Parliament, both in the National Assembly and in the Senate, who also have legal backgrounds, by the way, how this will play out, because we've heard the majority leader in the Senate, Aaron Cheriot, saying, and as far as they're concerned, they will be aligning things or people in the committee to reflect the broad-based agenda. How will that turn out? Here's a glimpse of that judgment earlier.
In the process, declaring Kenya Kwanza the majority party in the National Assembly, the Speaker acted arbitrarily and violated Article 108 of the Constitution. The Speaker had no basis to disregard and dismiss the Registrar of Political Parties information on the membership of Azimio Coalition and Kenya Kwanza Coalition.
Simultaneous holding of the position of the Speaker with that of leader of a political party and the leadership positions in the ruling party coalition, as in the case with the current National Assembly Speaker, Honorable Moses Wetangula, who is the leader of Ford Kenya and holder of key position in Kenya Kwanza Coalition, reasonably evokes appearance of bias and undermines its neutrality role as the Speaker of the National Assembly.
Well, this reminds me to also encourage you to grab a copy of our newspaper tomorrow. We'll share that headline again. But let me start with Peter Kaluma. If you heard Aaron Cheriot speaking, in fact, he likened the judge's decision to a mere opinion, like any other Kenyan would have an opinion. He said that the judge failed terribly short in parliamentary practices, which of course you'll walk us through. Which are these practices? And also, he said that dunia imesonga, if I would use Kiswahili directly. I mean, what is your opinion in as far as what Aaron Cheriot said and the judge's pronouncement, even in the position of the Speaker, Moses Wetangula?
Yeah, as today, as ODM members, we started the week of prayer and fasting for Baba to win the seat of chairperson of the AU Commission. That is why you see I'm tired. I've not eaten since morning. Let me say we are not supporting Baba because he's a Kenyan, but we believe he has the right vision, he has the right plans, he's passionate about the whole of Africa. And we pray, even as we are here, with Honorable Manzo, that it succeeds. It will be the pride of Kenya. I want to request those Kenyans who are attacking Baba on the media for another candidate from outside of the country, you know them, not just in the media here, but also largely on X and on the social media platform, that cannot be more unpatriotic. I think we need to know there are things over which we should converge as all Kenyans. In terms of where we are with this decision,
yes,
let me say that when we went for elections, the Azimio coalition had 171 members of parliament elected on their side. The numbers which were elected on Kenya Kwanza were 165. And then we had 12 members who ideally should be independent, meaning not elected in other political parties. But of course, you know, in Kenya, they are aligned to political parties. So that if determination on which side is the majority were to be made, as the court rightly says, as at that time, Azimio was and should be the majority party or coalition in parliament under Article 108. And I know we easily agree with Manzo on that. In fact, Manzo will tell you we were drafted as lawyers within Azimio in our first meeting after elections to see how we would ensure that happens. And the report we gave back to the coalition is that we could not go to court before Parliament sat because the court would be saying you're acting in vain or in a vacuum. Nobody has denied you your majority position. And so when we went to Parliament, the Speaker, upon election, declared Kenya Kwanza the majority side. Now, that had a consequence in terms of how, the Kenya Kwanza, coalition started eating into our membership.
Eating into your membership?
Into Azimio membership.
All right.
If you remember, PA of the current Speaker of the Senate was a party of Azimio. They negotiated, and you know, the former leader of PA is now the Speaker of the Senate, elected by the Kenya Kwanza side. There was Maendeleo Chap of Dr. Alfred Matua went, and you know Dr. Alfred Matua is now a minister in government in consequence of the arrangement they had. There was a Devolution Empowerment Party. There was CCU. There is MDG of Honorable David Ochieng. Remember, this was an Azimio party on our side.
All right.
David Ochieng crossed over, and he sits with me now out of that negotiated settlement within the Speaker's panel as among people who can preside over the National Assembly in a negotiated arrangement.
Robust party.
Then the UDM, the Robust Party, is what hit us hardest, because this one's mostly had 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1 people. But the UDM party had up to 5 MPs. They 5 or 7. They also left us a block. So at that very beginning, following that communication, 14 members of these various parties essentially went to the other side and left Azimio. And indeed, they have never voted with us in common on anything. They are on the other side.
In the House.
Then we fell, therefore, with that, the numbers changed. Kenya Kwanza now had 179 to Azimio's 157 due to that shift. See, I'm telling you the reality and the practicalities, because it would be important for us to know that you may call yourself majority, but ultimately decisions in Parliament are made based on the numbers that are present. Those 12 of independents we had, leaving aside only 2, the other 10 completely shifted to Kenya Kwanza and were rewarded that way. So you see our numbers, the numbers building on Kenya Kwanza, the numbers getting lower and lower in Azimio.
All right.
Then you remember the attacks on Jubilee began. I can tell you Jubilee with and Jubilee is the second biggest party in Azimio coalition.
As we take a break.
That Jubilee, currently I don't think there is a single member on President Uhuru's side. They all shifted for all intents and purposes. I can tell you.
All right.
Yeah. There are colleagues who are in Jubilee, you know the several of them. If you leave aside Honorable David Mwenje, who is the deputy minority, Mark Mwenje, I can tell you all Jubilee is for all intents and purposes gone. Then, of course, we remained with Wiper and ODM. I can tell you I'm meeting my brother Manzo here. After how long, my brother? You now see Manzo more with Waititu and Rigathi Gachagua than you see Manzo with Kaluma and Raila. And that is the case with even our principal Vice President Kalonzo. And you remember you are quoting him saying, for all intents and purposes, Azimio is spent, it is incapable of being rebranded, and for all intents and purposes, it has not even complied with the Political Parties Act. So that the decision of the court, if you would permit me to conclude, is the right decision. But it reminds me of a phrase in law called justice delayed is justice denied. The reality on the ground is that we will go with a brand majority party, but in terms of effecting parliamentary decisions as a majority party, none. Let me tell you, when you go to committees, for instance, let me finish this.
In 30 seconds.
Yes, when you go to committees, for instance, all members in a committee vote to elect the chair and vice chair. With the actual and factual ground, I'm telling you, we will call ourselves majority, but all the chairs and vice chairs will be on the side with the actual majority. So that is the quagmire in which we find ourselves. That we have a beautiful decision we had sought, but a decision which for practical terms may only give us pyrrhic victory.